I'm Caroline Hendershot, and this is What's Your Why, an in-depth interview series where you get to know the player underneath the helmet. This is part 2 of my interview with Quincy Williams, where we talk about his viral NFL draft moment, signing an extension with the New York Jets, and his career year in 2023.
So you being this strong leader for your family has kind of transformed into who you are, obviously at a linebacker position, but also it seems like you've been like this kind of your whole career, especially after college when you declare for the draft. There was no Murray State Pro Day. You didn't get invited to the combine, and you're just ready for the draft, but no calls are coming?
No calls are coming. The draft process was it wasn't weird, but it was one of those things where you're betting on yourself. That's the biggest thing. So not asking for handouts or anything like that, but you're betting on yourself. Coming from a small school, it's probably a handful of people even know about Murray State other than the basketball program, John Morant, things like that. So it's one of those things where I'm betting on myself, but I know for a fact I'm going to declare for the draft and I'm going to make it. So really just buying in, but then also that mindset that my mom gave me as far as being persistent in what you actually want, going all in, basically took me to where I'm at now and being in the league. And then also my brothers was declaring also. So
right.
It was but at first we didn't want to tell each other, tell people that we were brothers, because we wanted to both have our own paths and stuff so we could continue the medium way and the easy way.
Yeah.
So we didn't tell anyone we was siblings until later on. So I went my own path in Miami, just worked out, just locked in. It was really one of those things was persistency. If you really want it, we're gonna see what you're gonna do in 4 months. Or we're gonna say 1 year, because the last college season counts as that lock-in type point.
So Quinnen goes number 3 overall.
Right.
What was that like for you?
It was amazing. I celebrated everything. I actually went to Nashville. It wasn't about me. We knew the first day was about Quinnen. Boom. It wasn't about me at all. I was very, very cool with that. I was celebrating everything. Then all of a sudden he get drafted. Then he was like, "You coming?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come." And then they was like, "All right." And then my agent was saying "Hey, stay back. I'm hearing some word that you're gonna be a day 2 pick or something like that." And I was like, "All right, just gonna go. I'm gonna celebrate with you later on." That was a great experience just because it was all about him, and I was just excited that I can watch my younger brother do what he's been talking about every single day. Even if I didn't make it, I was still gonna be happy that he made it. So it was one of those type mindsets. But my brother was actually the first person who called me when I got drafted.
Really?
He called me before the Jaguars called me.
Really?
Yeah.
How did he know that you were?
I don't know, he probably plugged in somewhere else. But he called me before. I was in Birmingham, Alabama. He was at the Jets. Just told me, he was like, "Hey, bro, your name's finna be called." I thought it was one of those things just keeping my spirits up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was asking me how I feel, just having one of those mental check-ins that we usually have. And I was like, "You know what, bro? I'm just happy that you got living your dream and things like that." So that was it. And then as soon as I hung up for him, the Jaguars called.
Now, I think you might be the only player at the draft, or at least as of late, where they didn't have anything. Footage for you.
I still hold that video to today.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about
to that day. Every single day.
Does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me at all. It's the same thing it was my whole life, for real. As far as when I was in college, coming out of high school, it was all right, he's late eligible, he's already coming from a small school, we ain't gonna take our chance on him.
Yeah.
Then in college, coming from a small school like that, it was he ain't gonna take his chance on it in the league, smaller linebacker too. So it's persistency and just keeping what my mom told me, if I really wanna go get it type mindset, that's what it is, for real.
So you go to Jacksonville, you become a starter as a rookie.
Right.
Was that just because of your true grit and kind of showing everybody what you were made of and persevering?
Yeah, it was one of those things where I sat down, didn't get an invite to none of the combines or anything like that. I just needed one shot. That's it. Got one of the bowl game, NFLPA bowl game. Showed out in that game. So it was one of those moments all right, no matter what chance I get on the field, you have to show out on the field. You have to put the tape out there. So not even having any conversations with anybody, my tape spoke everything to me. Then so that was my mindset as far as not talking about it, but actually seeing it. Not saying what I can do, but actually showing it. So that was my mom's biggest thing. If you're gonna do it, just make sure you do it 100%.
Yeah. So you get waived in 2021. by the Jags, and then you find yourself getting called by the Jets.
That experience was wild.
Yeah, what was that like?
So that year we had a coach change, GM change, then a whole defense change. So it was like one of those things was like they brought in guys and I was just like, all right, it's gonna be one of those things. Miles Jack talked to me and he was just like, hey man, you also need to learn the business of the game. Like no matter how good you are, like if they got a plan, it's gonna be on their cards. So I'm like, all right, bet. So we go through training camp with Urban. He's a character. And then it went good. So came to the last game, and then my birthday is also cut day.
Oh no.
So it's like not a celebration, but it's a celebration because I'm born.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a subliminal message in that my grandma used all the time, but it is what it is. But
What's
so
that subliminal message?
So it's basically like so August 28th is my birthday. A lot of the cut days are on August 28th. So it's like that Sunday right after that last preseason game, and it was like, it's the day you was born. So it's like you was born to do this. So like every time I make the team, it's like you was born to do this because it's on my birthday. So I kind of like that though. So it's kind of like lifted my spirits up when I actually got cut. And she was just reminding me, she was like, you was born to do this, remember that. Like, and I was just like, all right, bet. So that whole time though is 24 hours. It's a lot to think about in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So the first thing that came to my mind is, dang, I'm gonna have to get a job. So like, this is like 2 hours in after the phone call, like, I'm gonna have to get a job. Then it was like, all right, I got a degree. What are you gonna do with that degree? Because you didn't do any internships. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. Next day, first call, like, as soon as the thing opened up, Jets called me and said, I'm gonna be a Jet. And I was like, bet. First thing they said was you gonna play with your brother. Then he said, you gonna be a Jet.
So when all of this is happening and Quinnen calls you and tells you you're at that moment again, how do you find that resilience? You had it from high school to college to the pros, and now at the pros you're faced with that again. How did you stay Quincy that whole time?
Talking to my mom, I'm gonna be honest. So like just trusting the process as far as like, how did I get from that point? So it was like, same thing I do with my siblings, like what did you learn from that moment? So it was like, all right, what did I learn from the moment in high school? Like that milestone from like, all right, you might not sign nowhere. As soon as you get signed, what you gonna do with it though? So I'm like, bet. So what did you do that from that milestone? Then I got to the milestone from draft night. What you gonna do in that milestone? Talked to my mom, said, if I get my shot, I'm gonna make sure I show out. Started my rookie year. So it came to this milestone, but like, it's not nothing you did, but as far as like, when you get your shot, what you gonna do with it?
Okay, so walk me through the fruition, the beginning of the uppercut, because that is one of the best celebrations.
So, what is it? So I was playing Street Fighters on Madden, and it was just like, we was playing the game and like I was playing against this dude online, and it was just like every single time I kept doing the uppercut, The uppercut was never ever practiced though, like ever practiced. Like ever practice.
Just happened naturally.
Ever practice. So it was just like, I seen them and it was just like a full-fledged, and most of the time I talk while I think you probably seen them mic'd up. I like talk and make like little sounds and stuff like the fighters on Street Fighter. Okay. So it was like, when I went in for the hit, I said boom before I actually made the boom hit. And then went boom and all I know, and it was like finish him in my head. And I just threw the uppercut.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've been throwing the uppercut.
Yeah. And now everyone throws it with you, which is the best part. Okay, so this one has been a big year for you. You signed a 3-year extension back in March. You were the AFC Defensive Player of the Month in October. You get your first NFL career interception this year. You have career highs in tackles for loss, passes defensed, fumble recoveries. What was the difference for you this year?
It was that milestone again. So it was like that milestone was like, all right, your rookie contract is over. Like, you're battling for a new contract. Do you even deserve a new contract? What did you do in the past with your rookie contract? Did you make the best out of it? So like, these are the questions I'm asking myself, or basically like talking to my mom about it. Like just having that moment where I'm just sitting there, like just having a conversation with her. It was like, did you make the best out of it? So like, these are questions that she would ask me if she was here, like,
right.
Well, what did you do to do that? Like, so it's basically an accountability type thing. So it's like, no one else's cards even matter. It's like, what did you do with your opportunity that you got? So I looked at that, and then it was more like, all right, where are you gonna play at? All right, what is everybody talking about? And then it got to a point where it was like, I ain't worried about what everybody else talking about. But I took that as like constructive criticism for places and things like that. So I just wanted to hear like I said, it's not talking about it, not selling you me, but like, what do you see when you turn on my tape? So I started hearing, you gotta work in pass. You've been missing a lot of tackles, this. And then it was more like, you're kind of undersized too, and you had a lot of injuries too though. Just talking about contract here. So I took all that, wrote it down, came up with a plan. Quincy was also at the Pro Bowl too, so I made sure I handled that part first before I even started talking about contract stuff, because I'm always celebrating my brother before I had to worry about something. So talked to him at the Pro Bowl, talked to CJ at the Pro Bowl also, and now it's time to work. So like writing down, boom, boom, boom. All right, this is what everybody's saying. All right, so now who are you gonna play with? Well, I'm going to the Jets, because like no matter what, I don't care like what's going on, like this is like feels like home. And then also my brother's here, and Rudy's been my coach since my rookie year, so he actually introduced me to the linebacker position. And like he knows like the way I like to be coached type thing. So like my better way of understanding, so of course I'm gonna go home. So came home, so now it's like, all right, how are you gonna make the best out of this opportunity? So everything I've heard from like all the other coaches, all the other players, all the other teams and stuff, I wrote it down, and it was like, all right, these are the linebackers they say are better than me. I'm gonna be the #1 linebacker this year. So it was like that mindset, and it was like, how are you gonna do that? All right, they said health and like just being injured. So I went to my dietitian, made sure I had everything, talked to the weight room also. Then they said, as far as like pass coverage and stuff, started working out in Atlanta, working on my pass coverages and my drops and things like that. So every single thing I had a plan to maximize my opportunity for this year. And I feel like I maximized my opportunity for this year.
You did maximize your opportunity because you were voted team MVP by all of your teammates.
That's cool right there. It's from my peers.
And by your peers. And so what does that mean to you to know that your peers think that you are the most valuable player on this team?
One of those things where like throughout life and all those milestones is not selling myself. So it's like actually putting in the work, showing, so then getting how they see it and not selling yourself. So I ain't selling myself this year. I feel like I put the work in, came every single day with the same mindset and being consistent.
What else is on your goals?
All pro.
Okay. And why are those so important to you?
I need my stamp in this league. It's something that I want. It's consistent. And it's like, as far as like, what's the next milestone I'm gonna do in this career type thing. So like, every year has been something. So like every milestone has been something like get to college, get my college paid for, boom. After college, get to the NFL. Then it was like become a starter in the NFL. It's like, all right, what more do you want to do?
You've achieved a lot this year, obviously. How do you repeat this with that consistency that you're talking about and help take this defense to a whole new level next year?
First of all, finishing out this season strong. Mm-hmm. Then during the off season, doing the same thing I did last year, as far as like, I like constructive criticism. I don't really like people telling me how good I do. It's more like constructive criticism for me. Mm-hmm. Like even my grandma know that, like for real. So like tell me what I did wrong so I know I can do it better. So probably talk to a couple of people, ask them like, #1 is always gonna be my brother, because he plays with me and he also sees me off the field also, so he know both sides of me. So just get my constructive criticism from him first, coaches, CJ, and then also the outsource as far as like other players and from other teams and stuff, like what do I need to work on. Now one thing I need to work on is I got like 10 plus pass deflections. I dropped like 4 picks. So one of them gonna be my hands. I think I'm gonna get probably like a jug machine or something at the house or something. Yeah. I should have got that for myself for Christmas. So yeah.
Okay, well, congrats on MVP, Quincy. Very well deserved.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of What's Your Why. Make sure you subscribe to the Jets YouTube channel for more exclusive Jets content, including more episodes of What's Your Why.